Hey, welcome back. I have a fun video for you here today. And the reason that we're doing a fun video today is because this one's for me. I hope you enjoy it too, of course, but today is my birthday. And what better way to celebrate my birthday than spending a bunch of time with my favorite pen brand, Smooth Precision Pens, Urban Survival Group, pulling out the entire collection, which takes a ton of time because I leave them all in boxes like a nut, and putting them on the table, getting good lighting going, and just celebrating what I love about this brand. Although it's retired, is that the right word? I don't know. No longer made, whatever the right term is. Unfortunately, no longer in business, but we may see more from Kelvin in the future here. Two changes that kind of led to this. One, I've recently become one of the moderators for the Smooth Precision Pen group on Facebook. So that had me kind of looking in there today and just thinking about these pens. And two, I've recently just tried to think a bit more proactively about what do I enjoy? What do I want to do? As opposed to like doing videos to like get another video out, or, you know, like getting some exercise so that I'm a better dad with my family. What do I want to do with my time outside of work, outside of my family? And it's really gotten me thinking more proactively about spending more time doing things I enjoy, including checking out these pens. So let's go through them. We're going to talk from top to bottom here. We'll start chronologically with the oldest that I have in the group. I think there were some other pens he may have made before these, but these are the Scribe V1. I have one in titanium, one in brass. Super cool. Probably never let those two go out of the collection. The most, historic of this particular group here, and two really cool pens. Now there's some quirkiness to this model, but there's some things I really like about it as well. One of the things I really like is this nice engraving. He didn't do this really on any other pen throughout the time that he made pens. This nice engraving on the top cap was very unique to this particular model and went away pretty quickly. And then there's some quirkiness, like this big gap here in the bolt. And just the overall action, it's okay, a little elasticy, just a medium good pen. Like it's better than most, but it's not like a mind-blowing experience when you use this pen. Now this is the full size. Again, I have it here in brass example as well. And then we have the V2. I have a full size and two minis. I'm a big titanium nut, so let's pull out the titanium one here, because again, we're doing things we like. You'll quickly notice there is no top cap engraving. Instead, there's a laser etch right here on the pocket clip. Same quirky bolt. Not a lot of changes, slightly different finish on this little mini here, but overall very similar pen to the V1. And if anything, I could have probably seen this be called like a V1.1 if I, as a software type person, was making the changes or making the name changes and owning the company, but not super important. Lastly, here on this particular row, we have the Scribe V3. Nothing on the top cap, no laser on the clip, and actually my favorite of the bunch. And you'll notice here that there is no gap. Super smooth, kind of a quirky longer pocket clip on this one, which I didn't see on any other models, I don't think that he did. One second. And a really neat one, a little different on the grip rings here, a little different on the finish. You have this sort of tall top cap on this one that you have on the V1, V2. A pretty neat model. I wish I had a full size of that. If anyone's ever selling or trading a full size, I'd be very interested in that. Feel free to let me know. Those come in a pretty different box than what we're used to in these modern ones. You had this kind of cool box like that for those. And some of these earlier ones came in these kind of cool boxes. So a little different than what most of us are used to if you've been around the brand for a while, which are boxes like this that slide in and out. All right, this kind of brings me to the TiScribe Go, and we're going to go here and here because these are also TiScribe centric pencils. The TiScribe Go is a really cool model. Here is actually kind of a unique one where there is it's a full brass and stonewash, and it's actually a brass bolt as well. So brass on the body, brass on the nose, brass on the bolt, everything except for the pocket clip is brass. Really smooth on this one, really nice. This one is a mini, and then there's a really cool Resident Evil themed Umbrella Corp version here in a full size that has remained in the collection for quite some time. One of my favorite like wild themed pens. It's just pretty creative and well executed there. I really like that one. And then I have actually the one that cost me the least in the entire collection, because when I got a bunch of parts, which some of you may have bought over the time that you've known the channel or known me from Reddit or other sources, this one was actually sourced from parts. So a clip and a bolt and a body and a nose all came together to make a complete pen. I think this thing ended up costing me like maybe $25 or something like that. Maybe 50 at the most. So that was kind of a cool one to put together all from parts and put together a functioning pen that I've used a few times. Bouncing over here, we have the TiScribe version of the pencil, although internally most things are the same between the TiScribe and the V2.2. A really neat, kind of thicker, I think maybe like a 0.40 inch diameter, something in that range, version of the pencil that he made. Really smooth, really nice pencils. Really encourage you to get one if you can ever find one, get your hands on them. I actually bought these two directly from a website well after he stopped the business. I'm trying to remember which one it was. They no longer have them in stock there. I've gone back and looked, but maybe Chicago Cutlery or something like that was selling these for like $70 or something like that. I thought it was a great deal. While we're on the pencil topic, I have a few versions here. Only one of these is an original. The others are like new old stock parts, but one is like an actual original from the collection, and I can tell because it's the only one that I have that has a Zirc clip on it. Really just beautiful pencils. Again, if you have a chance to get your hands on one, highly encourage it. I think his diameter was something like 0.37 on the version 2.2, which is like this, and pretty much everything else that we're going to go through. And yeah, I just love that feel in hand. So while we're on the Zirc topic, and that is a mini there, by the way, let's pop over here. Now this one was actually, the internals are from another pen, and then I had this Zirc clip, the tie internals, tie top, and I had a full polished Zirc body. So this is my user Zirc that I don't have to worry too much about. It's got an Energel in there to kind of mix up my refills at my desk, and that's my user. Here is an all original Dragon plus a Dragon clip. So I have the original Zirc clip for this and this wild Dragon clip that matches the body. It's definitely one of the prides of my collection, and I can thank one of the channel viewers for helping me track this one down. This took a long time. This is probably the hardest pen to find, and that clip was probably even harder. I got very lucky to snag that clip when I did. I think I've seen maybe 2 of those Zirc Dragon clips sell in all my time collecting this brand, so I felt very lucky to get that. Now here in the middle, these are all minis. This, by the way, is a full Zirc, full size, and it may be, if I could only keep one, that might be the one. It's probably between the full tie and the full Zirc, just regular ring grip. I just love those. I think they're great, although the others are more exotic looking, like the Dragon here and stuff. Those are all wow, you know, better in pictures and that kind of stuff. If I just had to have a user, man, this glassiness, this pen is just, I should definitely pick it up and show it to you. It's one of my favorite pens in my collection. Just insanely smooth, glassy. This Zirc finish is beautiful. I think it's just that I haven't really seen another pen with that fit and finish before. It's really remarkable and something I'm very, very happy to have. I found two within like maybe a couple month period, a full size and a mini. And just, that was when I kind of went over the moon for Smooth Precision pens, is when I found those Zircs. I was like, oh my gosh, these are something else. This is the most recent pickup in the collection. This one is a full camo, and it's in almost perfect condition. Maybe a little bit of usage in there, but doesn't really look like it was carried or anything. And it's just a really nice example of what he did with Cerakote. He just did such a nice job on this Cerakote. I'm not a big camo person, but that one really makes me appreciate his Cerakote capabilities. The American flag one's also really fun. This one here is my son's, again, assembled from a regular mini pen, and then he's swapping out a lot of the parts for really fun metamorphosis anodized parts. And boy, my son loves that one, and the dragon body with the wild anodization. Have the jigsaw here. This one has an auto refill in it. It's kind of why I keep it around with the auto refill. And then you actually have a pretty cool version. And you know, I've actually left one pen out of here. I'll have to try and find it in the desk here somewhere. I'm just realizing it's not out here. But this one here is a mini in the version 2.2, but with a slightly different finish on there. So I'll pull out like one of my favorites here, which is like his last finish that he did. So this one's kind of an earlier finish where the stonewash is there's a little more inflection in it, or whatever the right term is, a little more coarse. Pretty different on the finish here, and a neat example that I've kept around just mostly because of that. Coming down here, tie is my favorite material all around in terms of user and so on, just in terms of the lightness. And this is probably one of my most used pens in my collection. I should say it is my most used pen in my collection across all brands. This just tie, I feel like I could use that forever and it'd be fine. And then there's some cool variants here. So the dragon and tie, original, all original, their original box. And then the sort of aftermarket version of that, the Metamorphosis full polish on that. Now Metamorphosis did a lot of the custom finish like this one here for Calvin. So it's really a factory, partner. He had another guy, I think, that did some of his work in-house as well, if I understood correctly, and he did some himself. And then Phil over at Metamorphosis did some of his work. So that's all really neat. And then easily the quirkiest of all the models, the cam click over here. I happened to come across, also very lucky, a cam click pocket clip on the Facebook group, and had to grab that here and throw it on the full size because it kind of lights it up and makes it that much more interesting. Rattly, weird pens for sure. I happen to have, from the new old stock parts, I bought a full smooth body here as well, which is really cool, very rare, so I could always swap that in here for one of these other pens. And then I have two other bodies here just as examples of Metamorphosis work on ano here. You can see that one's a full ano and this one's like a polished out ano. Really love the way he does this. I think it's pretty remarkable finish. And then I have this, because so many on the channel have loved this one, it doesn't actually have a refill in it, right? Or all the parts in it right now, because my wife has a polished dragon that has the parts from it. But originally I did have this as a full polished version in the 5-ring, and it was pretty beloved by most, including myself, but the sacrifices we make for family. So that's 30 pens, 3 bodies, and a lot of love for me in the collection here. Definitely the embodiment of the things that I look for in pens, the aesthetics, the ergonomics, the action, the smoothness, the fit and finish, the refill, the tip wiggle. Smooth Precision pens, Urban Survival Group. Calvin did some of the best work I've ever seen in pens in terms of a pen I actually both love to use and love to look at. So had to bring these out here on my birthday, talk through them a bit, and share them all with you. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.